Alright, so my name is Mason Venters. I am doing my marketing presentation, and it's going to be over the eBay issue that was solved by Robert Chatwani. A little bit about Robert Chatwani. He oversees marketing, strategic planning, operations, and business development for eBay's marketplace for socially responsible shopping. He's been at the company since 2003, so a little over 11 years now. And eBay had an issue that came up. They wanted to find a home for ethically sourced goods. So crafted goods or consumables like coffee or chocolate or little carvings or something like that that were being sold on eBay because they didn't really have a specific place. And eBay really views these goods as people positive goods, basically meaning that they positively impacted the people making them and the economy around them. And kind of the question was, where does this fit in a community? Where's the home for this lost dog? So eBay had really three options that they came up with. The first option was to create a new category in eBay, so basically to customize eBay to incorporate in the products. The second option was to create a separate marketplace for them, so just a completely distinct website that they could be sold on. And the third option was to create kind of a hybrid model and to take advantage of eBay's platform while expanding to an independent source and then kind of meshing them together. This is actually the option that Robert Chatwani ended up choosing, but I'll give you a little bit more details on each of those options and kind of why he chose that one. So on the first option, that they would just create categories for these products. Um, you know, the listings would be highlighted and marked into kind of different categories. So, when you go on eBay, you can choose your category like collectibles and trading cards, or electronics, or clothes, or something like that. Well, they would have an ethically sourced goods section. And they wanted to really keep everything um, within the eBay website, so they wouldn't have to create anything more, spend money on that kind of thing. And this would be the most economical option. There would be virtually no paperwork or anything like that, no licensing agreements. They would just create a new category and then place all these in there. And a really good thing about this is that the people who are used to selling things on eBay were familiar with it. They didn't have to go sign up for a new website, learn how to use that website to the best of their abilities, and um, they could just stick to what was familiar with them. And I know a lot of people like to stick with what is familiar. So that was a big plus on option number one of just keeping it within eBay. Option two was to start a brand new marketplace from scratch, which is basically the the opposite of option one, and there would have been a lot of initial funding for this. They would have had to raise a lot of money just to start this, and kind of selling the ethical goods on eBay it's kind of mediocre. People don't go on eBay to kind of look for this kind of stuff. So it's very difficult for them to kind of see where this is going because of that. So that was kind of the downside to this one, is that they just didn't know how it was going to go. Most people get on eBay to look for other things. You're not going to type in ethically sourced goods on Google and try to find a specific website for it. So that's kind of the downside to that one. And then the third option was to form a hybrid that would allow a third-party website and eBay to kind of mesh together. And they ended up going with this one, like I said earlier. But the best part about this it did have kind of a third-party website, but then the items still showed up on eBay as well. So it really worked out well that the items on eBay they still look exactly like eBay items. There's no difference between them. But then they were also on another website, and that kind of got the word out a little bit more. So it was a little bit more findable, I guess. Um, and people who just wanted to look for this these ethically sourced goods would be able to go to that category, find that specific category, or just go to the website where a lot more were being shown. So this is the option that they went with. I also think might be the best option, kind of a toss up for me between option 1 and option 3. There are a lot of licensing agreements and stuff like that that went on, so it was very difficult to do. And there's some funding that needed to be involved, and then they had to come up with more programs and stuff to incorporate these two to get them to mesh together. But in the end, this has turned out to be the best. With option 1, it's kind of the lazy route. It's a good route at the same time, but just by creating a category, um, that's all they'd have to do, and people would just put their items into that category. So I really do think that Robert Chatwani went with the best option. Thank you.